Hello and welcome to my sermon. It is May 31st of 2020. My name is Chad Kister, author of 5 books and minister of the Sacred Space Church. And I am now an official minister. I have been ordained officially in the state of Ohio and can now perform weddings, funerals, and things like that. Now, what's happening around the country is massive civil unrest demanding justice. And if you look in the Bible, it is all throughout the Bible that we need justice. Justice is imperative. That's why Jesus acted up against the Romans and got crucified, was his desire for justice. And now, and I've been the victim of a huge amount too, police are just out of hand. They're not really police, and that's what people need to realize. They are actually criminals. In fact, they are actually terrorists. Now, I am an international expert on state-sponsored terrorism against environmental activists, so I know the definition of terrorism and whether governments are causing it or not. And the United States of America is engaging in large amounts of state-sponsored terrorism. That means police are terrorists. And that means that they can be seized without trial. Now, what I propose is revenue recovery and information centers. I've been trying for decades to get documents about myself and can't do it. Even with subpoenas, which are supposed to be the most powerful form of getting documents, even with public records requests, Freedom of Information Act requests, even appealing those requests, I cannot even get documents from our government about my own health, as you can see at chadkister.com. So I totally understand why people would be very upset and why they're taking to the streets by the tens of thousands of people and rioting against the police. The problem is the amount of arson and vandalism caused to innocent people. Innocent people should not be hurt. You know, police are the ones who caused it, and they are the ones that need held accountable. But even burning police cars, you know, the government is going to have to pay for it. We as taxpayers are going to have to pay for it. Burning the police precinct building in Minneapolis, I've been to Minneapolis many times. You know, we're going to have to pay for that with taxpayer dollars. It's really not a smart thing to do. But the police themselves are the ones to protest, and people are doing that really well. And we can see the difference between when people start taking to the streets and causing protests and when they don't. You know, there's finally murder charges against the officer who put his knee down onto George Floyd's neck. We finally got that, and that was done really quickly. So that we can see that people getting involved in activism can make a difference, a big difference. And now people, including myself, want murder charges against the 3 other officers who just stood by. And imagine what it would be like, you know, to trust, we have to trust the police to protect us. And instead of them protecting us, imagine what it would be like to have a knee put down on your neck by a police officer and having to plead, I can't breathe, and other officers standing around, people, you know, getting it on videotape. Well, maybe if someone would have pulled out a gun and shot that police officer, you know, George Floyd would still have been alive today. It's also all throughout the Bible. We need truth in government. And last week, I was strong-arm robbed by the Athens County Sheriffs. And I've been the victim of massive amounts of vandalism. You can see they've broken my windows. Sheriffs did absolutely nothing. When I was vandalized last week, they actually stole money from me instead of going after the vandals. And people have threatened to burn down my house. I've been assaulted on my property. And instead of going after the person who assaulted me, they actually arrested me. So the amount of injustice I have seen is so great that it's made me realize, worshiping with God and the great truth, that police are not police, they're terrorists. I'm the police officer, I just need to get my back pay. I'm the one videotaping and catching the criminals, spoon-feeding the sheriffs the documents. They are the ones doing nothing about it. They are the criminals. They are the terrorists, not the police. And so I really do like to see the massive amount of protest that we are seeing. And I hope it continues, and I hope that we can repeal the Patriot Act. Most Americans don't realize we have 60,000 break-ins into people's homes, including myself, every year. And the police don't even say they do it. They say, oh, someone broke in your house, and they make it look like a thug did it. If you look up DEA delayed warrant, you can see how the DEA ransacked a home in Cleveland. And one of these sneak and peeks, they murdered Breonna Taylor. And there have been protests in Louisville, Kentucky. We need murder charges against the police who shot Breonna Taylor. She was just in her house asleep. And there were protests against the injustice in Louisville, and 7 people were shot. Now, police claim that the protesters shot themselves. No, the police clearly shot the protesters, and that is yet more injustice that needs protested. And the media have been so blind to this because in large part police have actually either bribed them or in some cases even had sex with the reporters. Look at the Athens Messenger, right in the county I'm at. The former police reporter, Monica Newport, was having sex with former Sheriff Pat Kelly while she was the police reporter covering the sheriffs. Now, former Sheriff Pat Kelly is in prison for 7 years for corruption, but the Messenger still hasn't apologized. You know, they are corrupt. They are liars. They worship the police and they do whatever the police want. They never criticize them. And I've created Hawking Voice. You can see it at hawkingvoice.org, and also on my Facebook page, Hawking Voice is going to be the best media in this area in the Hawking bioregion. So that's where you can see the truth. And however, it is important that people not cause vandalism and arson to innocent people, and not destroying government property really is not going to help us in the long run. Isaiah chapter 1 verse 17. Learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, plead the widow's cause. The widows of these dead people that the police murdered. There's quite a number of them. They're probably going to kill me of brain cancer, and they still won't even admit to the brain implant that's causing it. Proverbs chapter 28 verse 5. Evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand it completely. Unfortunately, our government is full of evil people. Their absolute power has corrupted them so much that they are absolutely evil. And we either need to get them to change or we need to lock them up. One or the other. But burning down innocent people's buildings and cars is not a way to do it.